Brows before bros. Tragic timeline. My face, your screen. Let's start plucking regret, one follicle at a time. This brow thing is like a war crime. Let's dive into one of beauty's most tragic histories. The brow trends. They come and they go, and people don't realize this is actual hair. The more you pluck it out, and they're going away. Okay, they're going. I know, because I started waxing my legs when I was 16. By the time I was 20, they never grew back again. So you can't keep taking hair out at the root and think they're going to keep growing back, because they don't. They don't actually. So if you are one of these girls you're a survivor and you have two mismatched caterpillars on your eyes, life has messed. The eyebrow history has left you with some great trauma. You're part of you're a survivor of the brow apocalypse. Let's talk. So let's start at the 50s. Sophia Loren. Now, she had the eyebrows that everybody wanted. This woman, literally, it was like tiny little commas, okay? She drew every single hair to have those perfect brows, okay? The precision she had, you'd swear she was an architect and not an actress. And if you messed up, you had to just wash it all off and start over again. But every brow had to be drawn on. What? Who's got that kind of time? It's like facial punctuation. Who's got time for that? Now we get to the 60s. The Twiggy brow vacuum. In this era, brows kind of went into almost a witness protection level. You couldn't find them. Yeah. It was the haunted Victorian ghost that looked like an orphan kind of look, minimal, almost invisible. So eyelashes got all the attention in those days. So the brows were nowhere to be found. Somewhere in this era, in the 60s, tweezers became a weapon of mass destruction. Everywhere girls were walking around with tweezers. I mean, I know my mother told me that. They tweezed everything out. Why? You want to express some emotion? Sorry, surprised is all you get. You look surprised no matter what. You can never have any other expression except surprise, because there are no brows left. Why? Into the 70s, brow revolution. The feathered freedom fluff. Hallelujah. Brows were in again. You were allowed to have brows, okay? Peace and love and facial hair. Brows, okay? You were allowed to. So if your brows grew back after the previous era, blessed are you. If your brows looked like tiny little fern leaves, great. This was where I woke up like this trend started, way before social media. So brows were in. As long as they were thick and bushy and they had volume, you were good. You were good to go, okay? Brows were allowed to exist again. But did we learn? No. Then came the 80s. I think the 80s will always be remembered for the biggest fuck-ups in history, okay, when it comes to beauty. Because everything was big. Remember we did the makeup one where everything was big? Now brows were big too, because enter Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields with the brows. She had bushy brows. So if you were blessed enough to have brows left from the previous eras, then yes, grow them out. Bushy, big brows, okay? If your brows didn't look like they were taking over your forehead, you were doing it wrong. Because you power brow. It was power brows. Thick and dark and squared off, and oh my gosh, it was a crazy era. Let's be honest, not everyone pulled it off. Some people honestly looked like they got into a fight with a Sharpie and lost, because now, remember, people didn't have brows left. There was no hair left because they plucked it all out in the Twiggy era. So now they were painting them on with Sharpies or whatever they used to paint them on. But sad. Into the 90s. Oh, the great pluckening. That's the only way we can describe the 90s is the great pluckening. Tragedy struck again, as it always does. The 90s brought grunge, boy bands, and the most horrifying time with pencil-thin, overplucked, tadpole-looking eyebrows. Pamela Anderson, Drew Barrymore, with these pencil-thin, and people waxed their eyebrows off, they plucked them out, they made them higher than they were. Pamela Anderson and Drew Barrymore were honestly responsible for millions of tweezing tragedies. Girls didn't just overpluck, they annihilated their eyebrows. A whole generation of women are still waiting for their brows to grow back. You think climate change is scary? Have you ever heard about the permanent follicle damage of 1996? So, that was scary. 2000s. In the 2000s, we entered the anorexic brow arch era. Okay. The early 2000s were like 90s glitter and low-rise jeans. Brows were still thin, but now they had to have an arch. I'm lucky I have an arch already, on one eye anyway. But, so if your brows didn't look like you drew them on in the back of a car, then yeah, were you even Y2K ready? You had to look like that. The brows of early 2000, of 2000 till 2010 was scary. The people were painting, there was one expression, angry, with a raised brow. Because let's face it, when you're angry, you raise your brow. So, the angry expression. So, I don't understand how somebody can look angry and smile at the same time. But this was that era where you didn't know, is someone happy, angry, or sad? Because the eyebrows said angry and the rest of the face said something else. So we were emotionally confused in those days. That was, eyebrow tattoos also became a thing in the early 2000s. Yes, I mean actual tattoos, like the permanent blue fading thing that tattoos fade through age, especially on your face because you wash it all the time. So, yeah, eyebrows were fading like a MySpace profile. So, no. The 2010 eyebrow era was a disaster, okay? The brow renaissance. Because suddenly it's like everybody remember the eyebrow has a purpose. Do you know what the purpose of the eyebrow is? It is to keep the sweat from going in your eyes. That's why it's there. That's why sometimes you wear a sweatband if you're sweating too much. I got to think if I'm working outdoors or something. I worked on an island once and I sweated a lot, makaneta. And my eyebrows were not doing it. And I have good eyebrows. Where I would actually rip a t-shirt and tie it around my head so that the sweat doesn't go in my eyes. Because that's what your eyebrows are made for. But, not just that. People wanted eyebrows. Woolly mammoths, okay. Overnight eyebrows were in. Thick and not just thick, intense, blocky, Instagram thought brows, okay. Everybody wanted brows that looked laminated, sculpted, and prepared to withstand a hurricane. From going, what are you doing? By now you have no brows left, and now you want thick brows, so what? So, but this is where, now people learn so quickly. This is where now there's a need. Okay, these women don't have eyebrows anymore. Microblading. We're going to start microblading. So now you've got pomades, you've got gels, you've got stencils, threads, microblading. It's the brow arms race, okay? If your brows didn't look laminated in epoxy resin and drawn with a protractor, you were a peasant. You did not fit. Take down that Instagram account because your brows, they're not doing it. okay? So it's insane. Now in the 2020s, I think people are bored, because in the 2020s, the soap brow era came, okay? Fluffy and confused. The soap brow face, where people literally glue your eyebrow hairs to your skin with actual soap. With actual soap to your eyebrows, okay? Apparently it's innovation. I don't know. But the goal was fluffy, lifted, and natural looking, but not actually natural, okay? Like you want to look like you rolled out of bed, so they're fluffy, but also like you spent $200 on a lamination kit, a spoolie, and a dream. Eyebrows, these are just eyebrows, people. Also bleached eyebrows happen. Bleached brows became a thing. Why? Because someone decided that women need to look like alien babies from a Scandinavian cult. So, mutilate your brows. Now, as we know from beauty trends, 2025 comes with the 180, the reversal of all things brow, all things fashion, you know, the boobs out, BBL out, brows back to natural. How you get them natural after annihilating the way you have for the last 20 years, I don't know, but it's the era of regret. 2025 is the year of regret, okay? Regret about all this body sculpting you've done and all the eyebrow annihilation you've done. So, the trend is soft, natural again, okay? The laminated look is out. The thin eyebrows are out. Painting on the thick, scary look, looking angry, is out. So now they're embracing slightly untamed, natural, but not, you know, the born this way look, but nobody was born this way. Well, they probably were born this way, but they changed it. So, except they're still tinting, threading, shaping, and secretly microblading to look natural. Okay, you had the natural, you broke it, now you want to go back to natural. What is wrong with you? You should have stayed natural. Okay, it's a cycle, people. A deep toxic brow base roller coaster we can't seem to get off. So what have we learned through the journey of eyebrow trauma? The trends are temporary. Your brow missing follicles are forever. Beauty standard changed faster than my bank balance after walking past Sephora. Okay, you can't keep up. So maybe, just maybe, the most rebellious thing you can do is to leave your damn brows alone. Just leave them alone. Your brows, you are born with, unless you have a monobrow, some people are born with that. I would say take that out. If I had one, I'd take it out. But your brows are perfect for the shape of your face, unless of course you now go change your face with a sharper jaw and this and that, but leave your brows alone. Okay, if you go wild brows, yeah, I don't know, trim them. I've seen people trim them. I don't do anything with my brows. My brows are my brows. As long as they keep the sweat out my eyes, I'm good with them. But yeah, leave the brows alone. Leave the brows alone. I've actually had people ask me, so where do you do your brows? I don't know, God did it. I don't do nothing. I don't do nothing. Sometimes they look really wild because they're long. I mean, my brows are long. I don't cut them, I don't trim them, I leave them. Okay, because I know, I'm old. I know how trends change. I've seen some people who go from having normal, natural brows. When we were in school, they had normal brows. And then it went super thin. And then it went high up. And then it was arched. And then it was low. And then it was gone. And then, don't do that. Don't do that. Your brows are there to keep the sweat out your eyes. Leave them alone. Okay? Sometimes it's not about how you look. Sometimes it's about what you can do. Okay? Yes, I've coloured my hair. I made my hair black since I was 28. I started making my hair black. That's the only thing I do, is I'll colour my hair. And I started growing it out 2 years back. But no, that's not permanent. You see, that grows out. That grows out. I would never do anything permanent to change my appearance, because reversing it is almost impossible. You never get back to what you were. And you were perfect to start off with. You were fine. You were perfect. Why do you want to change things? Why do you want to look like everyone else? Don't do that. And to Bradley, stop putting pressure on her to have nice brows. Have you seen yours? Sometimes that one goes right across your eye and I don't know how you see through it. Okay, so don't listen to people. Don't try to be what you're not. Okay, here's a thing I've learned. You never find what you want if you try to create it. Okay, if you're not happy with what you find, keep walking until you find what you want. Because if you try to create it, your desires are going to change all the time, and you're going to keep trying to change how that person looks. It's not going to work. Be happy with who you are. You've got arms, you've got legs, you can walk, you can jump, you can swim, you can do everything you want to. Okay, there's more important things like that, because at the end of the day, and I know what I'm talking about, we all get old, and once you get old, there's no eyebrow microblading or BBL or boob that's going to make you stay young forever. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So if you're using that to fit in, why you want to fit in anyway? Stand out. Stand out, because you can't keep up. You cannot keep up. You are enough. You are enough. If you want to do something for your appearance that I've never done anything, not that I can't say, I don't think I ever would, but if you want to do something, make sure you do it for you, not because you see it on TikTok, Instagram, or because somebody else tells you you should do this. You should do this. You know, your cheeks are getting a bit low now. You know, do it because you want to. I wish people would stop putting so much value on appearance. There's so much more to people. There's so much more to you than the way you look. You know, if you want to look good, just put on makeup. Hell, I put on makeup and I look okay. And when I wash it off, I look like shit. But so what? So what? That's me, you know. Anyway, have a good one. Leave your damn brows alone. Let them grow. Let them be. They are what they are. They are there to keep the sweat out of your eyes. Have a good one. If you really want to do something to yourself, if you're not happy with the way you look, colour your hair. It grows out. Trust me, it grows out. But get a new haircut or colour your hair. Leave your brows alone. Leave your body alone. Do not dysmorph yourself to please someone else. Don't, because what you want this year, 10 years from now, that's not going to be what you want. You're going to want something different. And then you're going to do a 180 and have it all removed. You see, because big butts are in, big butts are out. Big boobs are in, big boobs are out. Tiny, no eyebrows are in, scary looking eyebrows are in. Don't do that. Just do things that's easy to remove. Don't. You're enough. You're enough. There's so much more to you.